So I think we are meeting after the prelims exam. उसके पहले मिले थे. So I hope you must have seen the paper. ठीक है? So some of you are appearing also. How you found the paper? It was tough. समझ में नहीं आया? नहीं, पेपर तो समझ में आया, आंसर नहीं पता था, ये अलग बात है. So it was tough, and it's not a something like mystery that nobody knows that paper was not tough. So obviously you know in this situation when paper is tough, what to do. What you don't know, leave it. It is as simple as that. In saying, it is as simple as that. But in practice, it becomes very difficult. Because you know, we all are human beings, and one of the characteristic of the human beings that we are greedy. We are very greedy. What happens that when we see this type of question, क्या पता सही हो जाए, मार देते हैं, ठीक है? So in that particular situation, there is very highly it's highly unlikely that it would be correct, and most of the time you mark it incorrect. So let's talk about the history section only, which was there. So you have seen the question of the history, art and culture, ancient, medieval, and modern Indian history. ठीक है? So अच्छा देखा तो है ना पेपर सबने? So which part was difficult in this? Ancient was most difficult. ठीक है? Medieval से तो कोई question था ही नहीं, I think. एक था सिर्फ, only one, and ancient question was really tough. ठीक है? Ancient was really tough. And when it comes to art and culture, so only 2 questions were there this year. ठीक है? I think one Somnath and one question related to Jainism literature. ठीक है? Jainism literature. So literature part was little difficult, not to be found easily in the books. But Somnath question people could have easily done when they have done the culture classes. So and what about modern? Have you seen? अभी तो पूरा पढ़ा नहीं है. So modern you have seen. How many questions were there? 2. क्या बात कर रहे हो? मॉडर्न से 5 क्वेश्चंस थे. ठीक है? 5 to 6 questions were there, and believe me, it was the easiest part of the paper. If you have gone through the classes, it was the easiest part of the paper. Nothing was outside that you have not read, or after the completion of the syllabus you will feel that कि अभी तक जो पढ़ा है, ठीक है? The Dutch question was also easy, and when it comes to one question was on Crips India, one question was on Government of India Act 1919. Then the Gadar movement question was also easy, that Ras Bihari Bose was the one who was associated with it. So modern question, for that section you can take a sigh of relief. Nothing was out of your class notes actually. All the questions can be very well found in the class notes. So what is the lesson over here? Lesson over here that, see, it is the modern where you can maximize the score, or where you can aim for more correct answers. But same cannot be true about the ancient and medieval. There is a problem with this subject itself. It's a very vast, and no matter how many number of classes, how much anybody teaches, how good anybody teaches, ठीक है? There is a possibility that UPSC, if it is very rigid, and if it is going to ask some new type of questions, so it may ask something which is not to be found in any book in the market, and that has happened in last 10-12 years. So your strategy must be work well on polity section, work well on your economics, and also modern part. It is one thing which pays off. Culture also, there is always be a possibility that if you get 4 or 5 questions, so 1 or 2 questions, they make it very difficult. But 3 to 4 questions, you can always mark it correct by your class notes itself, not by any book, I am saying, by class notes itself. Then another very important section, you must have realized in this exam, in this year paper, if you have given, so you cannot neglect the environment ecology for the prelims stage. Because see that both the exams are combined, forest services and then also this one. So I have not seen from the time the 2 prelims were combined, from the time that there are lesser number of questions from environment and ecology. So that plays a very big role in your selection in this exam. सो राइट फ्रॉम टुडे इटसेल्फ, ठीक है, दिमाग में रख लो ये बात, दैट इज द वन सेक्शन यू मस्ट प्रिपेयर ऑन प्रायोरिटी बेसिस, ठीक है, and whatever sources it is as per your conviction that what all sources you want to read, and moreover whatever your faculties of that particular section have said to you. And cutoff, when it comes to cutoff, so last year cutoff I hope everybody knows 87. So obviously when the cutoff is 87, so you don't need to top the prelims exam, nobody will recognize you, in fact nobody will know you that इन्होंने PT exam top किया है, ठीक है, उसकी बेसिस पे सैलरी नहीं मिलेगी. यू नीड टू क्लियर द प्रीलिम्स एग्जाम बट यू नीड टू टॉप द मेंस एग्जाम. सो कभी भी इमोशन के चक्कर में मत फंसना दैट बहुत कम मेरे हो रहे हैं क्वेश्चंस, आई एम मार्किंग वेरी लेस नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. इफ द पेपर इज टफ, सो यू नीड टू हैव लिटिल बिट ऑफ रिस्ट्रेन इन योरसेल्फ कि जो एकदम कंफर्म है, क्लोजर टू कंफर्म है, दैट you need to mark in your paper. Otherwise, less number of questions, doing less number of questions will do better for you. And this is not the only year in which the cutoff was low. 87 इस year में, पिछले साल में 92, उसके पहले 96, ठीक है, again 96. So last 4-5 years the cutoff is going very low, ठीक है. It means that last 4-5 years paper was very difficult. The year in which paper was easy, that was 2016, and that year the cutoff was 116. That was the highest cutoff till this point of date, and paper was easy. Okay, so paper was literally very easy. But nowadays that easy paper तो जमाने हो गए, ठीक है, अब नहीं आते हैं. And one more thing, that many people flunked last year. Who scored better in GS flunked last year only because of the CSAT paper. So CSAT, what they have done, that CSAT, it's very tough. More than your GS paper, it was CSAT which would be deciding factor for many people. So you cannot neglect this section also. And moreover, just because it is a qualification paper does not mean that you will prepare it in the last month. ठीक है, लोग ये करते हैं कि लास्ट मंथ में एक दो पेपर सॉल्व कर लिया, हो गया. नो, UPSC doesn't want you to neglect it, and you need to prepare all over the year, ठीक है, all along the year. That if you are weak in mathematics, see the mathematics questions this year, it needed time to solve, ठीक है. So mathematics question, aptitude question, and in comprehension was also not very easy. I would not say, I'm not trying to frighten you, but you need to know the reality that it was not easy. Only with the practice you can hone it. So please start practicing it, take it, don't neglect. And I have seen people from IITs also failing in the CSAT paper too. It's not a joke. I have 2-3 students of mine only who take it so lightly that they even didn't score 66 marks. So please don't neglect it, and that's a deciding factor. Many people, I know one student who was scoring 112 last year, but in CSAT he scored only 58. So this can happen, ठीक है. And बाकी जब पेपर टफ हो तो क्लियर करना ज्यादा इजी होता है इफ योर स्ट्रैटेजी इज राइट, ठीक है. सो सी दैट्स I would say one word to you, that strategy can compensate the talent, then, but talent cannot compensate the strategy. You need to understand it. Very important. Talent तो बहुत लोगों के पास है, ठीक है, भर भर के टैलेंट है, ठीक है, बट बिना स्ट्रैटेजी के टैलेंट दिखता नहीं है. So you first need to have your strategy. You need to decide your strategy, that what would be the strategy. You need to be very confirm. And strategy regarding this exam, that what all things you'll be reading, what all you will not be reading, what all things you'll be neglecting, where you will not be going into the emotional frame कि ये पूरी किताब है, आधी पढ़ी है तो पूरा पढ़ लेता हूँ, खाना पूर्ति हो जाएगी. So you need to create a better strategy for yourself, which suits which suits you, and also which confirms your selection. हो सकता है that somebody else's strategy may work for you, but not all the time. So you need to devise your own strategy, and without strategy in this exam, one thing is very sure, that is failure. So once again, you remember this phrase which I'm saying, that strategy can compensate for the talent, but talent cannot compensate for strategy. So remember it. And in exam, you need to, when you see the paper, accordingly, you have 2-3 ways, 2-3 strategies, and looking at the paper, you just go to the